Hi, I'm Catharina Laporte, an instructional professor at Texas A&M University and faculty fellow with the Texas A&M Center for Teaching Excellence. Are you looking for a low-tech way to engage your students in the classroom? How about index cards? I use index cards a lot in my classroom. I like them because they're cheap and they're easily and quickly distributed and collected in class. They provide a point of focus and a task for the student. They set an expectation of the quantity of information required. And by limiting the quantity of information, you are automatically advocating for quality of information. They are easy to review, assess, and grade if necessary. An index card submitted in class with the student's name on also provides a way to take attendance or gauge participation. Although sometimes an index card submitted anonymously encourages honest questions and feedback. Here are some ways I use index cards to gauge, engage, and make the student center stage. Asking a provoking question, planting a seed of inquiry, providing a point to ponder, gauging the knowledge on a subject at the beginning of a lesson is considered best teaching practice. In short, priming the pump in the student's mind. At the start of class, you get them hooked because they want to know the right answer. I ask the student to record this pre-knowledge or preconception on one side of an index card. This could be anything from the definition for something, the answer to a math or chemistry problem, or their stance on an issue or ethical dilemma. For example, how do you know the person sitting next to you in class is not an alien? I ask them to write this down on one side of the index card. During class, they are now thinking about the end goal and the purpose of the lesson. They are reminded of this goal because they have an index card in front of them. I've seen students revisit their cards during class and edit their original responses, learning new ways to tackle a problem and intrigued by the answer. After the lecture or lesson or discussion, I will ask the student to revisit their card and write their revised answer on the other side of the card. This activity can help with student motivation by purposely creating a state of cognitive disequilibrium at the start of the class. Students then look to restore cognitive equilibrium throughout the class because they want to know the right answer. The tangible index card helps the student to see how they have progressed, provides a point of focus, and sometimes a point of group discussion. This activity also follows the 5E lesson model: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. How do you gauge students' understanding before that high-stakes test or assignment? Index cards can be really helpful here too. During or at the end of the lesson, have students write down their muddiest point. A muddiest point is a thing that is most confusing them, something that is messing up their understanding or success in a concept. I often use this image of a muddy pig to set the stage for this activity. Alternatively, instead of asking them what's confusing them, ask students to use the index card to work out a problem or explain or paraphrase a concept. They can do this as a bulleted list, a calculation, or a 1 or 2 minute paper. Sometimes muddiest points and minute papers or problems are collected for a grade or participation, and other times they are submitted anonymously. Sometimes they are a starting point for a group discussion. These activities offer several benefits to the instructor and students. They help to gauge student understanding or misunderstanding of a concept and offer opportunities for just-in-time feedback and corrections. They give time for silent thinking in the lesson plan. These activities offer opportunities for low-stakes formative or no-stakes assessment. They also create opportunities for small or whole class discussions, maybe as the starting point of a quasi-think, pair, share or group discussion. Tangibly writing something down on an index card that might be shared offers opportunities for students to reinforce and paraphrase in their own words what they have learned. And finally, if given at the end of the class and collected, these activities and the resulting index cards provide a point of departure and reference for the next lesson. How How can you give the students agency and actively involve them in the learning process? Index cards can help here too. This is a wonderful activity, especially because it has tangible and purposeful outcome for the students. The students' efforts could be used on a real exam or quiz. Ask the students to create a multiple choice or exam question about the class content on an index card. Encourage them to aim high on Bloom's taxonomy, creating questions that require analysis or application of class concepts rather than the regurgitation of facts. In groups, they can test their questions on each other and vote for the most successful question, making it a competition like atmosphere in the class. This activity not only highlights to them how hard it is to write a good quiz question, but it also makes them the teacher, which in itself helps them retain the class concepts. As the facilitator of this activity, you can use the best questions on your quizzes or exams, giving students bragging rights. You can also compile all their questions as an uncorrected study handout that the students can use. I also use index cards to improve my own teaching. Instead of waiting until the formal course evaluations, I often solicit anonymous feedback from my students using index cards. To do this, I use the Stop, Start, Continue activity. Ask the students to put 3 headings on their cards: Stop, Start, Continue. Ask them to write what they would like me to stop doing, what they would like me to start doing, and what they would like me to continue doing. This just-in-time feedback helps me improve my teaching by giving the student what they need to be successful. I will take that feedback and incorporate it into class, or at a minimum discuss it in the next class meeting. Even my most inexperienced teachers have found the Stop, Start, Continue activity easy and beneficial for everybody. I hope you have found 1 or 2 useful ideas in this video. These low-tech tools are a great vehicle for exploring and implementing more active learning activities in your classroom.